Griessel. This is our presentation for term 4. It was our Python course. Problem statement is to design a replacement clock-in system using Python to record clock-in and clock-out times of employees to calculate hours worked at Automation Works for payroll purposes. The scope of the course: we learn about the basic syntaxes and functions and variables of Python. Then we also learn about Beautiful Soup, which pulls information from other websites which you then can use and manipulate. We learn about file systems and how to manipulate files. Matplotlib, which creates charts and graphs to show statistics. And then I think my personal favorite, the Kinter, which creates a graphical user interface for Windows. And then MicroPython, which is an interpreter for Python on microcontrollers like Arduino Uno that he previously used on his project. And then why I said Kinter was my favorite, we created a game, a Pong game using Kinter, and I found this really interesting. Main components that I used to create my entire project was SQLite 3, which is a library that you can import into Python that allows the program to make use of SQLite databases, which I will show later. Flask, which creates the web page itself, it creates the application for the web pages, which is a micro web framework which allows creation of application to serve and manipulate the HTML templates, track users, login, create sessions, and handles all the logic of the program. And then Ginger, which was a thing I recently used and added to the project. It's a templating language to allow you to use programming logic in templates like Python programming. Then how does my project work? Firstly, you type in the URL in the URL bar. I'm going to send it out either as a link or as a QR code to scan. And then it'll take you to the main home page, which then, if you have not been registered before, you click on the register button. Otherwise, if you have been registered, all you do is press on login. Now, if you press on the register button, it'll take you to the register form, where you can type in your username and password to create your account. Then all you do is press register and it'll take you back to the home page where you just fill in that information that you just filled in on the register page. You press in login. If you type in the username or password incorrectly, there will be an error message that show up. And also if you type into in the password field, if your caps lock is on, there will be a message at the bottom in red that will show you that it's on. I'll demonstrate that later. And you also have the show password to see your password. And then if you don't have administrative rights, you will be taken to this page. It's for the employees. I used Kevin here as an example. Hello Kevin, you're an employee. Then you can see here is a download button. It's to if Kevin wants to download his own information to see how many hours he's spent on a specific site, if he wants to filter it per site, or if he just wants all the information to see how much hours he has put in this month. And then, like I said, this is where you can just type in if he wants to filter it by a specific site, like he wants to know how many hours he worked at Office. Then all he does is fill in Office and press the download button, and it will be downloaded as an Excel spreadsheet. Then you also have the clock in button, which this page doesn't do anything much at the moment. You're not clocked in yet. This is just if you want to see your information. And then if you want to start working, all you do is press the clock in button. It'll take you to the page. It's mostly the same. You still have the download button and the logout up top. And then only here is the only thing that's added. It's if you want to clock out at the end of the day, you have to fill in at what site you worked on, or if it was at the office, Wellington, or wherever. All you do is you type it in and press check out, which will take you back to the check-in, the clock in page, and then you can log out or still download. Now for people with admin rights, I use myself as an example. You're an admin. Now here the download field looks a bit different. It's got an added field, so now you can download, if both are none, both filters are none, you can download all the information about all the employees and all the hours they work in the month, or you can filter it by specific employee or by specific site. You also have a change access button that's different from the employees clocking page, where if you press on that, it'll take you to this form. This is where the admins can choose which of the employees have admin rights. Now, if it's checked, you have admin rights. If it's blank, you do not have admin rights, which will take you to the employee page. And all you do is you press done, it'll take you back to the clocking page, and then if you press, well, this is just a close-up of the download page. This is the format that it will be downloaded as. So you see it's just Bennie given a finite because both of the conditions was none. The date and time that they are clocked in, date and time clocked out. Because this was only a quick example, they did not spend a lot of time online at the work, and then what sites they worked on. And then if you click clock in, it'll take you to this page. It's the same as the employees ones. All you do is you type in your clock out or what site you worked on, and then press clock out. And then coding difficulties. Most of the coding was very fluent, so if I got stuck, it's quick to get over. But I think this was the most difficult. And this is the coding to get the information from those checkboxes and then write into the database that they are now admins or not admins anymore. And it was quite a challenge to get over. And then for the HTML, this is where I use Ginger. This is what it looks like. So inside the brackets with the percentages, I can then use programming logic. But this was also hard for me to understand at first because I've never even heard of this. I didn't know it existed. Nick helped a bit with this, and because all this does, it loops all the checkboxes and names for every employee. So if a new person registers, it will automatically be put in on the change access page. Technical difficulties, like I said, getting the information from the checkboxes and then using that information to change the employee's access. Also, it was really hard in the beginning of the design project to understand how Flask works because it's a totally new thing, and then to figure out how exactly I want to do my project. Technical successes, the system is up and running. It does what it is intended to do. I've done multiple tests on different types. I've done it on different browsers and everything, so everything works that I tested. I also put in the filtering option for the download file just to make it easier to know, to get all the information that you want and to get specific people. Future improvements, I want to add a light and dark mode for people's preference. I want to improve the look and feel of the web page. I also want to add a feature where the employee's information is integrated with the existing payroll software. Also want to add a GPS feature to check where the employees are so that they can't log in and clock in at home. And I also want to add more filtering options and statistical data to the downloaded Excel file. And I want to add the application to an external server with a domain name to access it from anywhere in the world, because at the moment, that's why the URL looks so strange. My computer is at the moment the host of this application, but if I put it on the server, it's going to take over the domain name, which will then be typed into the URL. My activity log chart, I'm not going to spend that much time on it. Most of the hours was for practical and then the design project and theory, which took up most of our term. Lessons learned. There's more than one way to program something. Like if I get stuck and I Google something, you will get a million ways that people fix that problem, but that's where it gets tricky, because now you have to integrate that with your own program. So it's hard to find a specific answer on Google for your problems. And I also learned a lot of new skills that was not a part of the scope of the course, like the SQLite databases, Flask and Ginger. Acknowledgements. I just want to thank Nick for helping me to push me in the right direction if I have a question. I would almost never get a straight answer. If I have a question, he will always just tell me, why don't you just take a look at this? And I quite appreciate it, because it learned me a lot about coding that was not a part of the course, that I got extra skills in. Then references, it's just for the HTML to help me code the HTML part of the project. Flask that I used in the beginning, and then SQL for the database. And then demonstration.
Okay. Ek het dan 'n bietjie nodig.
Can you check if the CD is running? Yeah, it's on the laptop. It should be running. That's it, I'll come in now. Thank you. I net nie van geminimize visie.
Net focus, okay.
Alright, this is the homepage that, like you saw before. I'm gonna register someone new. Gonna register Nick and then his password. Then here you can also have the show password option to see what your password is, and now just register. And now I type in that information. Now if I put the caps lock on, as you see there, it warns you that the caps lock is on. Show password, just to see that I typed it in correctly, and now I can log in. Now, I created this web page with sessions, which if I'm at this page and now I close the tab and then go to the link later at that day, the website will remember that I was already logged in, or take me back to the exact page where I left. So here is the download file. Now let's say I want Nick has nog niks op die oomblikie. So Nick wants to work, now he will clock in, it'll take him to the clock in page, or the clock out page, and here Nick will spin. Now Nick can close the web page, and then if you reopen the page, it'll take you straight back to where you left off. And now Nick was at the office today, the entire day, and then he will clock out. Now the data is instantly saved on the database, and then if Nick wants to know how many hours he worked at the office, all he does is type in office, click download, the file will download. Let's open the file. Okay, while that's running, if he's done for the day, all he does is log out, and then it'll take away the session that was created for him, and then next time he goes to the link, he'll have to re-log in. Now let me take you to the admin page. This is what the admin page looks like. Now, let's say I want to give Nick access, admin rights. All I do is I check his name, press done, and now if I log out and log in back as Nick, you can see he now has admin rights. And here's just the download files. Now let's say both are none. Let's download that so Nick wants all the information. That'll pop up in a minute. And then you can also clock in. It's going to be exactly the same as the employees. page, and you can just clock in, say what site you worked on, and then clock out. See if this opened yet. Now this was where Nick downloaded it as an admin. You can see all the information about all the employees. Can be seen here on what sites they worked on. And then if I open the one where he downloaded when he was an employee, you can see Nick can only see his own information, and he put in the condition that he wants the hours that he was at the office. So, and in here you'll see it's 0 hours, 0 minutes. If he spends more than a quick instant on duty, it'll show the exact time that he was online.
We might put that on YouTube.
Right. And if you're finished at the end of the day, all you can do is you log out, and I'll take you back to this page. And it's so long. Any questions?
I was going to ask about what prevents me from logging in at home. How can that be controlled? And you addressed that you want to install GPS for more accuracy, because yes, I will take chances.
Ja, ek het ook gedink oor daai ene, so dat ek gedink om die GPS in te sit, want dan as jy inlog, vandat jy inlog totdat jy uitlog, kan dit jou trek wanneer jy binne werksure. So dit gaan daai kan prevent at least.
Absolutely. Yes, and I do think there's also scope for more add-ons, where you can possibly look at a lot of other things that can also, where you already enter the rate of pay for each individual, and it calculates payment due or something like that.
Op die future improvements het ek gesê ons gaan, ek wil dit integrate met die existing payroll software, so daai informasie dan saam met die payroll software die pay dan nou kan calculate. So ja.